Welcome to the Financial News Update. Here are the latest updates from the corporate world. State Bank of India may consider the declaration of dividend on the 9th of May. Adani Enterprises Limited has recommended a dividend of 1.30 rupees with payment on or after the 30th of June, with a record date of the 14th of June, 2024. Coal India Limited has recommended a dividend of 5 rupees. Hindustan Zinc Limited will consider and approve an interim dividend on the 7th of May, with a record date of the 15th of May, 2024. Bharat Electronics Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 20th of May. Ambuja Cements Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees, with a record date of the 14th of June, 2024. Bank of Baroda will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Union Bank of India will also consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Dabur India Limited has recommended a final dividend of 2.75 rupees. Pi Industries Limited is recommending a final dividend on the 21st of May. ACC Limited has recommended a dividend of 7.50 rupees with payment on or after the 1st of July, with a record date of the 14th of June, 2024. Punjab and Sind Bank is proposing a recommendation for a final dividend on the 10th of May. Federal Bank Limited has recommended the payment of a final dividend of 1.20 rupees. Lick Housing Finance Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 15th of May. Blue Star Limited has recommended a final dividend of 7 rupees with payment after the 6th of August, with a record date of the 19th of July. 2024. KPR Mill Limited has recommended a final dividend of 2.50 rupees. Coforge Limited has declared a fourth interim dividend of 19 rupees, with a record date of the 15th of May, 2024. RT Industries Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 10th of May. JBM Auto Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1.50 rupees. SKF India Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 8th of May. Relaxo Footwears Limited will consider a recommendation of a final dividend on the 9th of May. Kalpataru Projects International Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. Finolex Industries Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Poly Medicure Limited will consider a recommendation of a final dividend on the 17th of May. Blue Dart Express Limited has recommended the payment of a dividend of 25 rupees. HBL Power Systems Limited will consider and recommend a rescheduled dividend on the 27th of May. Ramkrishna Forgings Limited has declared a second interim dividend of 2 rupees, with a record date of the 10th of May, 2024. Vardhman Textiles Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 9th of May. CE Info Systems Limited will consider the declaration of a final dividend on the 13th of May. Gujarat Agrawat Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. Network Technologies India Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees. Seed Limited has recommended a final dividend of 30 rupees. Voltamp Transformers Limited has recommended a dividend of 90 rupees. Thomas Cook India Limited will consider the declaration of payment of dividend on the 15th of May. Quis Corp Limited will consider recommending payment of a dividend on the 9th of May. SUB India Limited may recommend a final dividend on the 23rd of May. Home First Finance Company India Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. Gallant Ispat Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1 rupees, with the record date to be intimated in due course. HG Infra Engineering Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. The South Indian Bank Limited has recommended a dividend of 0.30 rupees. Lloyds Engineering Works Limited has recommended a dividend of 0.20 rupees. Balaji Amines Limited will consider recommending a final dividend on the 8th of May. Dilip Bulletin Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Indigo Paints Limited will consider the recommendation of a final dividend on the 22nd of May. Privy Speciality Chemicals Limited has recommended a final dividend of 2 rupees, with a record date of the 25th of July, 2024. Aji Greenpack Limited has recommended a final dividend of 6 rupees, with payment on or before the 25th of September. Orient Electric Limited will consider and declare a final dividend on the 9th of May. Orient Cement Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1.50 rupees. Ami Organics Limited will consider the recommendation of a final dividend on the 10th of May. V-Mart Retail Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 14th of May. Venus Pipes and Tubes Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 9th of May. Skipper Limited has recommended a dividend of 0.10 rupees. Heikel Limited will recommend payment of a final dividend on the 9th of May. Datamatics Global Services Limited will recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. Navneet Education Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 9th of May. Damir Bharat Sugar and Industries Limited will recommend a dividend on the 14th of May. Sharda Cropchem Limited will consider and declare a dividend on the 10th of May. Ajmera Realty and Infra India Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 9th of May. Mangalam Cement Limited has recommended a dividend of 1.50 rupees. Vardhman Special Steels Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees. TTK Healthcare Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 24th of May. PNB Gilts Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1 rupees, with the record date to be announced in due course. Fecum Organics Limited will consider the recommendation of a dividend on the 22nd of May. Hasta Biosciences Limited will consider the declaration of a dividend on the 10th of May. Aptech Limited has declared an interim dividend of 4.50 rupees, with a record date of the 10th of May, 2024. Bliss GVS Pharma Limited, DAT has recommended a final dividend of 0.50 rupees, with a record date of the 12th of July, 2024. SAT Industries Limited will consider the recommendation of a final dividend on the 9th of May. Associated Alcohols and Breweries Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees. NCL Industries Limited will consider a final dividend, if any, on the 10th of May. Link Limited has recommended a dividend of 5 rupees, with payment around the 12th of August. Industrial and Prudential Investments Company Limited has recommended a final dividend of 90 rupees. Birla Cable Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. SIL Investments Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Indag Rubber Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 14th of May. Meenakshi Coated Metals and Industries Limited will consider and approve a final dividend on the 10th of May. Omax Autos Limited will declare and recommend a dividend on the 2nd of May. Standard Capital Markets Limited has declared a special dividend of 0.01 rupees, with a record date of the 10th of May, 2024. Netlinks Limited will consider the recommendation of a final dividend on the 10th of May. Sagasoft India Limited will consider the proposal for recommendation of a dividend on the 10th of May. Ansell Boldwell Limited will consider the recommendation of a dividend on the 30th of May. Gujarat Containers Limited will consider recommending payment of a dividend on the 11th of May. Ashoka Credit Capital Limited will consider the recommendation of a dividend on the 13th of May. Zodiac Ventures Limited will consider and recommend an interim dividend on the 9th of May. Rosemark Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 10th of May. Credit Access Grameen Limited will consider the declaration of a one-time final dividend on the 7th of May. Remedium Lifecare Limited will consider the approval of the issue of bonus shares on the 10th of May. Sherwood Capital Limited will consider the proposal for declaration of bonus on the 10th of May. Ajanta Pharma Limited has approved a buyback at 2,770 rupees for 285 crore through a tender offer, with a record date of the 30th of May, 2024. Dipna Pharmachem Limited will consider bonus and stock split rescheduled to the 6th of May. Vinny Overseas Limited has announced a rights issue at 2 rupees in the ratio 1:1 for approximately 4,652 lakhs. AKM Creations Limited will consider fundraising through various options, including a rights issue on the 6th of May. BFL Asset Finvest Limited will consider and approve raising of funds by way of a rights issue on the 10th of May. Stay tuned for more updates. Subscribe to our channel for the latest news in the financial world. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Please thumbs up if you like, subscribe, press the bell icon and never miss an update. Share and comment your thoughts on the comment section. And stay tuned with Corporate Actions India.